Chad, I want to continue my latest on women are to blame. The female, not women, because women know what time it is. They know what time it is. They know how to conduct themselves. They know how to attract a good man. And they're not going out there giving out their cookies to just any and everybody. Because they have more due diligence than to do something like that. So, and also they're gonna get married before they go do all these different things. They're gonna have a proper suitor to go ahead and make a life with. That's why you see a lot of people, a lot of women go to college and everything and find their husbands there or whatever. So, uh, in my last video, it was about single black mothers. And they were pretty much single black females, and how the gentleman was talking about how it's just a problem and it's destroying the community. And this is true. So, my opinion, a lot of opinion, I think it's common sense. But let's go to some statistics to prove my point. And I'm going to go to Mr. Value Entertainment and let's play what he has to say, what he can contribute to this topic.
I have some disturbing stats I want to share with you about fatherless homes. And by the way, some of the stats, you may, oh, I've seen this before. I'm going to tell you when you read some of these stats, you're going to sit there and say, that is insane. By the way, these stats are from 2021 of the impact a father makes in a child upbringing, both a girl and a boy. Like I said, disturbing, but you will be shell shocked with the stats. If you get value from the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Let me get right into it. The US has the highest rate of children living in a single parent household of any nation in the world. About 80% of single parent homes are led by single mothers, at a rate of 23% of children living with one parent and no other adult. The United States stands over 3 times the world average of 7% of children raised by one parent. For reference, the number stands at 3% in China, 4% in India. This is not an area we want to be competing with other countries, by the way. If there is a statistic to not be competing in, this is one of the statistics. China's at 3, India's at 4, the world's at 7. We're at 23% in America. Zero bragging rights. This is the stat everybody wants to hide. And this is the stats where the side effects of this we ain't gonna see for 2 decades or 3 decades or longer. Takes a while to see the side effects. Let me continue. Even for children with a father present in the home, the average school age boy only spends about 30 minutes per week with one-on-one conversations with his father. For comparison, the same boy on average will spend about 44 hours a week watching television, playing video games, and surfing the internet. In our house, there is no video games throughout the week. It's on the weekends. After you read 150 pages throughout the week, then you have the right to play video games for an hour or two on the weekend, and that's what you have to earn. You have to move your body, you have to exercise. There's certain things you need to do to get to that point. That's our household, but the stat tells you 44 hours a week of watching TV, playing video games, and surfing the internet. Let me continue. 90% of all homeless and runaway children, 63% of teen suicides, 85% of children and teens with behavior disorders come from fatherless homes. Let me read that stat to you one more time. 90% of all homeless and runaway children, 63% of all teen suicide, 85% of children and teens with behavioral disorder come from fatherless homes. That is a very, very big number. Next, fatherlessness likewise has a direct link to teen pregnancy and sexual activity. Roughly 70% of teenage pregnancies come from women raised in a fatherless home. 70% of teenage pregnancies comes from fatherless homes. 70%. That's a big number. And these same women have significantly higher abortion rates than women raised by both a father and a mother. On the whole, fatherless kids are 20 times more likely to be incarcerated and 11 times more likely to exhibit violent behavior than children from two-parent household. 20 times more, okay? 20 times more. If a man and a wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same chances as children raised by just their father. You may already be blown away by the stats before, so maybe come back and let me read this to you and brace for impact if you missed it. Let me read it one more time. Listen, just stay with me. Don't get distracted. Stay with me. Listen. If a man and a wife raise a child, they're less likely to end up in jail, but they have the same chance as children raised by just their fathers.
Yes, exactly. This is the whole point. That goes to speak to the dysfunction that every every woman, female has. Is it's internal. It's deep. It takes years to get through it from all the traumas and stuff like that. That they just don't believe that they need a man. Don't think they need to listen to a man. Maybe because they had a whole bunch of narcissistic leeches that they're attracted to. The Pookie and Ray Ray. Let's continue.
Husband and wife raise their kid. The chance of this kid going to jail is the same as just the father raising his kids. The problem is the single mother without a father in the picture that can sit there and discipline the kids, give them hope, values, principles, all the other stuff. We play different roles. This is statistic. If somebody's watching and saying, oh my God, you're discounting women, you're discounting mothers, go get upset at the stats, not at me. This is stats. You can't get upset at 3 times 3 is 9. That's stats. I'm giving you stats that's being given to us by the government because they have access to these stats. This is disturbing. Let me continue. Girls with no fathers have lower self esteem. We can lower crime, lower mental issues, help the economy, lower suicide rates, and decrease homelessness by bringing back the family nucleus. There are things that my wife can do as a mother that I can't do. There's things she can bring that I can't bring, but there are things I can do that she can't do. So now you may say, well, Pat, I agree. I do agree. We can lower this. We can, but then how come it's not happening? And here's the other question: who's to blame? Who do we blame with this? Now you may be listening to this saying, well, it's got to be the husband and wife's fault. It's got to be the man and the woman's fault. Fine. How come it's not the same ratios around the world? Why is U.S. fatherlessness at 23%? Everywhere else is 7% average. So is it really the mom and dad? So how about the mom and dad in India? How about the mom and dad in China? How about the mom and dad in Germany? How about the mom and dad in Brazil? How about the mom and dad in other places? Why are we at 23%? How?
It's because of Zaddy, the government. This was all in the plan. This is social engineering. And what was it called? I think he's gonna get to it. He's gonna say something. Hey, I can't come to mind right now. But it's the government. This is how they planned it out. This is why what you're most likely as a man, you won't get your child. They don't want your children to be raised properly, have discipline, and get ahead. They don't want that.
How did this happen? Was it like this before? Is it an evolution? Is it mainstream media? Is it Hollywood? Is it the fact that parents are afraid of parenting because everybody is so much involved? You can't do that to your kid. You can't do this to your kid. You can't discipline your kid like that. Whose fault is it? It's someone's fault. Is it the fact that, hey, we can't really bring church and schools and pray and all this stuff? I don't know. Maybe that's not something you agree with. Maybe it is. Maybe we need those values and principles. But it's somebody's fault in America that this is happening. This is purely a systemic issue that we're having. This cannot be like in no, it's really the community, it's the parents, it's the culture, it's all this other stuff. No.
That was it right there. The culture. It's the culture. This is the culture that the government has brought upon us. And who represents the culture in our society? Who spreads the culture? The female. The female is spreading this type of culture. You have a thing where you have feminism began in the 60s and blew up, took off in the 70s. And which, the white woman didn't like how she was, how her life was. She wanted more power and everything like that. But she never turned her back on the white man. That's for damn sure. But it was all about separating the black woman and the black man and getting the man out of the household. And I would say this, when that happens, you have that independent mindset because the government is paying your rent, giving you food stamps, the Section 8, all these different things. So you don't need a man no more. And you just get by with the struggle in the hood. Why do you think the hood got so bad? Because then she goes ahead and lets the Pookie and Ray Ray come in and says, "Hey, what you selling your drugs and everything? We can put this money and put it together, living in this house and everything like that, so we can get a car." We'll try to uplift more than that. I don't know. I've seen that all through my younger days, my 20s, my teens. I mean, I remember girls in high school that was like, after high school and during high school, they started popping out kids because they knew that they was going to get paid per child. And then I see the dudes that was living up with them. I mean, tell you the truth. I mean, I had my first kid's mother, which we got together, we had children. I was 20, 20 22. Yeah, I was 22 years old. We had children, and which she went ahead and got on Section 8, and which got an apartment. I put up the money for the apartment, and I furnished the damn thing. And unfortunately, after I finished furnishing the house, pretty much she got rid of me. She didn't like that I was striving. I didn't just want to work at my job and go ahead and just settle. So she said she was done. I mean, later on, she wanted me back. I mean, she seemed to want me back for years now. It's been over 25 years, and she still has hatred and animosity towards me, turning my kids against me. So it is what it is. So those are those kids with her, my boy and my daughter, and that's also affecting my daughter's child, my granddaughter, that it's hard to go see her because grandma's all in the business, still still mad that I'm not there when she's the one that kicked me out. And so that's the and you know what's so funny? I went ahead and it was a situation with my kids, and I went to court to go ahead and get custody. And I tell you, when I went into that courtroom, that female judge, boy, that piece of work, boy, she was on me from the door. She said, "How dare you try to get these kids from this woman? How dare you?" And I'm looking at her like, "Oh my God." And I mean, it was a situation that was, she just totally slacked on her parenting. She was ghetto. This is my mistake. That's why I try to tell young men, do not get with no ghetto chick for the projects. You're gonna have nothing but problems because guess what? She got relatives, she got family, and they're all ghetto. They're not at a high standards. It's all about your circle. That is so true. You do not want to mess with these people. They are just, I mean, Lord knows. I mean, I think to myself, was the big booty and the big the soda bottle body, pretty face, and everything like that with little niggerette, was it worth it? No, it was not. I got children that have trauma, that which is all kind of stuff. I mean, I got a son that tells me, he's like, you know what, Dad, you were right the whole time, and then he goes into some trauma shit that I have nothing to do with, you know. So at this moment right now, I don't have a very good relationship with my older children. That's why right now I'm about my boys, my children I have now with my wife. We've been together. We celebrated last year, December, just last month, 20 years. And let me say this, it is January 18th, 2023. So I think with this right here, I mean, I could go a little bit more. Let's see what else he has to say here.
Standards are standards. We're sitting there not educating. Ah, it's not a big deal. Go ahead and do that. Ah, it's not a big deal. Go ahead and do that. Ah, it's not a big deal. Go ahead and do that. Now, standards have dropped, and the numbers are showing. If we judged a country based on how many kids are being raped,
And this isn't just about black women. This is all these women. I've seen white women doing some foul shit. I mean, these white women will divorce these guys and take them to the cleaners. Which right now they've destroyed the population with this feminist bullshit, with their favoritism towards females, and destroyed men that they have no resources. And it's also they could do whatever they want because the woman is more likely to go along with whatever Zaddy say. She don't give a fuck. She just wants to have her nest and live her good life. That's why you have so many female politicians. These female politicians, which if the president got somebody telling him what to do, that which that he talking this stuff, Trump, he's talking, I'm gonna clean the swamp, I'm gonna do this and do that, and next you know, things ain't happening. That's because he sat down and the real controllers came in and said, you know what, this is what it's gonna be. You ain't gonna be doing none of that. This is how it really works. This is what's really going on. What you that drug money, though, that cartels bringing drugs up in here. What you we making money off of that? That's what's paying for all these services. Do you really want to cut off Social Security, Medicaid, the food stamp program? I mean, what you let's get real. What you this whole thing is a scam. So I mean, the women go right along with it. They love them being in there. Maybe they might want to tap that ass, get a little services and stuff like that, and they're gonna do whatever they say. They sell out to the conquerors. That's why the whole feminist movement was so big and everything, and the people that's paying for it is the corporations. They paying for that because they want to get these women in there so they can drive down your income. So you have a equal playing field. You try to get women in it. Women will take a lower salary. They ain't gonna ask for more. They're gonna complain, but they ain't gonna be like, yo, I'm gonna do this or whatever. No, no, no. They'll deal with the bare minimum until it explodes, like like this nursing crisis in New York. I guess 1199 is on strike and everything. But that's a union. They getting rid of the unions. So these corporations, they're pushing females to go ahead and compete with the men. And which is destroyed this country. It destroyed what it was meant to be. So that's one part. But let's go back. Let's go back to this.
by
Well,
fatherless homes, that's producing crimes at the levels that we're getting, sex during teenage pregnancy, abortion, suicide, incarceration. Maybe we ought to look at this. Maybe this is very important. Maybe our educational system sucks. Maybe. Kids spend more time around teachers than they do around their parents. Maybe, who do we blame? The responsibility has to lie on the nation. Maybe we're either too much involved or we're not selling. Take your time to get married. Take your time before you have sex with someone. Take your time before you get pregnant. Take your time before you have a baby. Protect yourself. Stay home. Do not just go out there and have unprotected sex. Maybe we're not talking about this kind of stuff. Maybe we are, maybe we're not. The stat says we're not selling it in the right way and we're paying a price for it. If you're in a community that crime is high, hello, you're feeling it. That's the stats.
That's why I don't live in that community. I left that community. I left that city. All that. Let's go into what a lawyer has to say. Here we go. The lead attorney. Let's see what he has to say.
And this is something that's very counterintuitive. Guys, most divorce attorneys will tell men not to fight for their children
Why?
because most men, if they fight for their children, will not get their children. This is very complex, guys. So let me tell you something about a divorce case. Divorce cases can be, most divorce cases are fairly cheap, relatively speaking. I mean, they could, it's not these Dr. Dre types of divorces, right?
Sure.
Most divorces you can get resolved for under 15 grand. You can. Um, there's one type of case that you can never get resolved for 15 grand. It is the most expensive type of case that a regular person is going to have. And that type of case is a custody battle.
Mhm.
And when you talk about custody battles, um, those things can get easily 35, 50, 75, 115. Now, imagine you're a man and you've got four credit cards and you come to me and you say, Lee, listen, I make $60,000 a year, but I want to fight for my two kids. And you're going to tell me the facts of your case, and you got a little something. You got some arguments, but it's going to be a real battle because the judges are biased against men. And so we're going to have to put up a ton of evidence. What are we going to have to put up? Well, we got to do discovery. That's going to cost you 5, 10, 15,000. We got to take her deposition.
Mhm.
But then we also need to get the kids some counseling. And we need to get some experts on the case. We need to get the psychiatrist. We need to get the kids evaluated. We need all their reports. We need for these experts to show up to court. And so you can make $60,000 a year, and I can run up your bill to 80 grand, which you cannot afford.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I have to tell you, I have to say, listen, you you got a little something. But if I had to say whether you're going to win or lose, I don't think it's 50%.
Mm-hmm.
There are attorneys who will tell you, listen, pay me the 80,000, just put it all on all your credit cards, and I'm really going to try and we're probably going to win. And what happens when you lose? They're going to look at you and say, well, we tried. We gave it the college try. Then they're going to take their 80 grand, that 80 grand you paid them, and they're going to fix their house and put their kids through a couple of semesters of college. Good attorneys don't do that. Good attorneys do the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Good attorneys say, listen, what's going to happen when I start charging this 80 grand? You get up to 30 grand and you're going to come to me and tell me, you're going to say, Lee, I ain't got no money. What I'm going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm going to do, Ruslan? I'm going to drop you as a fucking client because I don't work for free.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've got your 30 grand, but your trial isn't going to come for a year and a half. That means you got to get up another 30 grand. You got to get on another attorney's plan to pay for the case.
Mm-hmm.
So we attorneys tell you, listen, do not fight for custody
Mm-hmm.
if you cannot afford to do it. And a custody case is is one of the most expensive cases that a man will ever have, and a normal man, not some NBA player or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of times it comes down to man, and men have tried. And you never hear about the man who spends $75,000 and then they lose. Because what happens when they lose the $75,000? Now I've got their $75,000, and now guess what? They have to turn around and pay child support.
Yeah.
You got to turn around and pay
Yeah.
with what money, right? Because I've already cleaned out their life savings. So good attorneys, we say, listen,
Let me tell you, in my situation with my older children, I went ahead and I got custody of my daughter. I got her out of that situation. I moved her out to my state. I won custody. And you know what was so crazy? I had to pay child support for both of my kids, my son and my daughter. And my daughter was living with me. I went ahead and I got I got child support put on the mother. And pretty much that was to give me back the money I'm spending on just my daughter to her. It wasn't as much as you know, what I was paying. She just had to pay, you know, half of that back to me. And I didn't do that. I didn't do that early, because what she did was she used one of these. I'm gonna just say New York, which is a state where you just go to the court and everything like that. You can file something on somebody, and they're gonna take care of it for you if you ain't got no real money, whatever like that. In our state, you got to pay. You have to pay somebody. You have to pay an attorney, get the process rolling. So she had me go into court after I got custody, and which she went ahead and tried to battle me again to get custody back of my daughter. And New York State, New York City went ahead and got a lawyer for her, my son, and my daughter. And they were just all ripping and just ready to go. Ready to go for me to go to court. They told me to go to New York with my daughter and submit to their authority. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I said, that's not in my best interest. That would be detrimental to my life. So, and my daughters. So, no, I'm not going to do that. I shut that shit down. Shut it down. You don't have to cooperate with them. What the hell? They tried to contact the judge and everything like that. And and he told them, he said, because they told him, they said, we never seen somebody go in favor of the father. And this is just not what we do here. Thank God I'm not there no more. So, because that's the same New York City court that judge was like telling me, how dare you try to get custody of your kids. So anyway, they long story short, they failed. Then on top of that, then I had to go ahead and fight this bitch with the child support. And they just like I got it shut off. My son was of age. My daughter was living with me. The child support got shut off. I was celebrating. I posted up on social media. Oh, child support is over. Next you know, one day I'm just driving everything, mind my business and everything, and somebody calls my phone from New York. And they asked who I was. I told them, yeah, that's me. And they said, oh, I just want to inform you that we're turning back on your child support. Because the mother told them, why would you do that? Why would you cut off the child support? Why are you doing that? I'm like, because I got custody. In New York, turn that shit back on. They turned the child support back on. And I'm just like, it was unbelievable. And then I had to go and go have a child support hearing where I had to have a lawyer for that. Had to hire a lawyer in New York. and he was up in there with you and said whatever he had to say, and they was like, "Yo, do you owe? Does he owe you any money?" And that bitch knew her place. She said, "Nope, he don't owe me shit." She knew she raked in as much as she could because my son was of age. My daughter was living with me. We was about to get down to the nitty gritty and everything, and they just squashed that whole shit. I ain't get none of that money back. None of it. That bitch just wanted to be fucking horrible, have mad animosity and hatred because another thing is my wife is way younger than her, way younger. Man, I'm 51. My wife is 38. You know, and I tell you, and my ex is my age. She's a couple of months older than me. So I you know, to say like, when you a high value man, you could go after the young ones. You go after the young girls and everything, the young women and everything, and find you something better. Which her, no, she didn't find nothing better than me. That's why she's still mad. That's why she's still in that apartment that works that I helped her get and furnished. So that is the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Stone Cold said so. Anyway. Oh.
Bruh.
Yeah, bruh. So this is the dysfunction of the female. This is why you have to watch the circle that you in. If you living in the hood in the ghetto, you need to get the hell out of there. You need to get the hell out and don't fuck with them damn hood rats. I'm looking for. I am looking for my stuff. I got some stuff right here. Some stuff that I uploaded. If I can see it. It's a shame you get older and everything like that. You need these glasses. I wish I could be up on here with my Dolce Gabbanas or my Gucci or whatever the hell. I got some badass shades and everything like that. I don't. Shit, I got the Chrome Man shades, but I can't see nothing on this computer without these glasses. Anyway, let me see here. That's that video I made. But I be uploading some of these TikToks for use, I guess. Here's another. Let's see what this chick has to say. Oh my god, what the hell?
Passport bros, all that shit is happening, y'all. It's in effect. All these women did was tear down men, bash men, all they could, and look at what happened. Now that men do not want to deal with most of y'all, it's gonna backfire, and it's only gonna get worse because all you guys keep doing is continuing the sexual liberation, and then you wonder why men view you the way that you do. And yes, there are men who are gonna sexualize you regardless, but you're not making them any better with the shit y'all post, with the shit y'all do. So why do you complain about how weak men are, but you contribute to this shit? Why are you complaining that men are sickos, perverts, weirdos, and all this stuff? You fucking and sucking. That's what trips me out. You see what I'm saying? And then I trip out on women who complain so much about our safety, all this stuff, like men are this, but your body count's high. You're getting passed around like a community fucking school. It's not the radio for everybody. And I'm not talking about breaking down everybody. I'm just talking in general. I really hope that you guys listen to women like her and understand it's not going to work in your favor. It isn't. And there are some girls who do get men that want to be with them, and they're OF men too, or they're men.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I mean, they're coming out with the truth all over the place. The proposal. let's check out this one. I want Russell Wilson to come save me.
A lot of these men that pull up to rescue us, these are the men that did life right. These are the men that didn't waste a lot of time on nonsense. These men were focused, ambitious, disciplined. These are the men that are showing up to rescue you and save you. They made the proper decisions. Let's be clear. Y'all are not waiting on Pookie and Ray Ray to show up and save you. Y'all are waiting on the quote unquote Russell Wilsons to come up and save you. And some of them do. And you still don't fucking appreciate it. Which is why you're seeing so many of them saying, fuck you. I'll be alone. I'll go somewhere else. But these are the men that did life right. All of his ducks are in a row. Do you guys know how many times I've seen men to where their families are questioning them? Why are you choosing her? You don't have any children. You went to school. You have your business and your career together. You got your money. You're an attractive guy. Why are you choosing her? Hold on. What are you doing? She got all of this baggage with. Oh, what are you doing? Well, I love her, and I feel like she just needs somebody to help her out. These are the men to where you make them look bad, and again, they live their lives right. They can have their choice, and they still are choosing you. And what's crazy is you don't appreciate it. You talk down on them. You talk bad about them. And then you blame your shit on them, and they had nothing to do with it. And before you know it, these brothers are like, you know what? Now I get it. Now I see why so many of my brothers have walked away. Flued out by themselves. Don't want to settle down. Don't want to commit. And let me also say this. Some of these brothers went the whole mile with you. They married you, gave you children, additional ones, that is, and you ended up fucking them over. That's why I said earlier, brothers, I appreciate y'all for not giving up, but please don't be stupid. Please don't be dumb. Move strategically and wisely. Because every female ain't worth saving. What your brothers tell you? Save yourself, black man.
Straight facts. Which is like she said, which someone flying out. I flew out. I went down to South America and got my wife. I went and got her and brought her up here. And I'm telling you, boy, fighting the bad influences of America, unbelievable. Still, I mean, there's always a breakthrough. Always a breakthrough where you be like, yo, they finally wake up and see, yo, I've been brainwashed. Because this bullshit, you got the court TV, you got the social media, you got these crazy ass friends. Just like I said in the other video, my last video, having these friends that ain't shit, which are retarded as hell, which are serious mental illness, which are mad trauma, which are been got family issues, been oh my god, Lord no, you just imagine a ladder, and they coming around, they left their man, and they trying to tell your woman like what tell you, oh you don't need him, he abusive. I ain't hitting her. I ain't hitting her. But this is the same woman that says that her kid's father, the father of her ex husband, that which that he is abusive to his daughters because he yells at them. He's telling them something, And these all these Democrats. Let's look what this lady said. I posted this up before.
It gets worse. He says, quote, the first black president. So how do Latinos feel if there's a big investment just in the African American community? And they're looking around and saying, we're poor as well. What kind of help are we getting? Or Asian Americans who say, look, I'm a first generation immigrant, and clearly I didn't have anything to do with what's taking place. He's not just hostile against us getting reparations. He argues against it. And your former president of the United States set the stage for the hostility that we're experiencing today. He didn't use that window of time with a full Democratic Congress to push reparations through, but he did it for other folk. And then when Congress flipped and he had a divided House where the Republicans were controlling part of Congress, even if it was difficult for him to get reparations through, he did not use his bully pulpit, and he did not use the full weight of his Democratic government to do right by us. Under Joe Biden, a Democrat, under a Democratic Senate and House of Representatives, they didn't even go to Republicans for any help. For money, they simply redirected $50 million for Asian Americans, those that are part of the AAPI community in America, which is known as the Asian Pacific Islanders, who said they experienced some discrimination during the global plague. You know what I'm talking about? The shots and stuff. They simply redirected money that already existed in the government to their communities, and they got legislation. So now, recently, over the past several months or years, he's come out, they say for the first time, saying he's for reparations. That's because we, the black grassroots, and I've hashtag BGR, Black Coin BGR. It's because of the pressure we're putting on everybody. We're going to continue it. They thought it was impossible to get legislation for the LGBTQ community. They said it was impossible to do all these other things for everybody else. I wish we would back up. We're just getting started.
Look at that. Which they playing us, and that's because of these females. These females, I mean, man, back in the days, you couldn't vote unless you had skin in the game. Skin in the game meaning which you own property, you were doing something. You were working, but now you got it open to all the welfare moms, which are the people that don't own nothing. Man, I tell you, there's no accountability with these people. I tell you, I was dropping off my son one morning, and this chick, she come pull up behind me in a raggedy ass Grand Cherokee, hood all messed up, front end damaged, and anything like that. And I'm sitting there with the truck off. I got a F-150 with a 6-inch lift and everything. The stance really looked nice. Everybody's always complimenting me. Oh, that looks good. I don't even got the goddamn windows tint. It's got the regular factory tint and everything like that. But my side windows and my front window, I haven't gotten it even tinted. I don't even bother. Because guess what? Maybe I'm too old for that bullshit. Don't give a fuck. But anyway, they got nice rims and tires and all that stuff on it. So I turn it off and everything like that, and I'm sitting there waiting and everything. Next you know, I feel my truck move forward. Like, what the hell is it? I look and I see her coming out from behind me. So as she was turning out from behind me, her car brushed up against mine, pushed it forward and everything like that. So I was like, yo. She just kept on driving. So I hop out that thing and she was letting her kids out. And she was a young black female. And I said, yo, I do believe you hit my car. I said, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. That's all she said the whole time. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Grabs her phone and everything like that. Mess with her phone. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. Like she gonna call somebody to beat me up or something like that. Yo, I ain't got no time for nigglets. So this is advice to you, women, ladies and gentlemen. You do not engage. What you must do is nicely walk away, have your phone out, and snap a picture of the license plate. And even if you want, snap a picture of the person. You know, whatever it's because it was people, other people out there. It's not like something was gonna go down or something like that. So it depends on the situation, but definitely catch that license plate. So I did that. Called the police. Stayed there at the location. Police came, saw that there was a scratch on my bumper. The funny thing is, I didn't know it was just a scratch because guess what? I just took a rag and rubbed it and there was nothing. The mark came out. It was the color from her vehicle. I even told that to the cop, but the cop said, "Oh, I see the little damage there, whatever like that." So, but the whole thing is that was a hit and run. So he tracked the bitch down. Come to find out, she don't live in the district of the school because I don't live in the ghetto. I live and we all have, everybody here has houses. Some people, they rent out their houses. You know what I'm saying? We have a little bit of problem with people renting someone's house. And and oh my God, they come from a different, I got some people from Jersey that they don't know how to bring their garbage cans in back in their driveway put it beside their house or something. And then yeah, people that don't know how to call garbage pickup to get their garbage out of here. But these are renters that want to live in a better class neighborhood and everything like that, but they're not classy. So anyway, they go ahead and get her. The vehicle was not insured. They couldn't do nothing because it was on their private property. So they couldn't impound the car. He gave her a ticket, which so it's a $200 something ticket for not having for a hitting run, and then and said that which is she had to produce insurance. Never produced insurance. Never. And they found out that the bitch don't live around here. So which was so the school told her, yo, you got to get your kids up out of here. So I mean, the good thing is I ain't got to deal with no low life trash. Being in the same school with my kid, you know what I'm saying? Get rid of them. Don't need that type of shit here. Feel bad for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Well, guess what? She should have chose more wisely who she decided to open up the gates, open up her thighs to. So I don't know. This this is this the sad state of affairs. So sad. Oh my god. What the hell? Anyway, I guess I'm gonna wrap this up. I mean, I think I went over enough. Um, please like and subscribe, and hope to see y'all again soon. Shalom.